Mothers of Reddit, what does a great partner for your daughter look like? My 13-year-old daughter has a friend I absolutely adore. He's got a huge heart and they talk all the time and he loves all her little quirks just as much as I do. She calls when she's having anxiety and he will just chat with her for hours and send her little songs he made with his guitar, and I just adore him. They are just friends, but if he ever wanted to date her I would completely approve. Social status, money, job stuff. To an extent, yes, it's important to be with someone who has a decent work ethic and is responsible, but emotionally supportive and kind-hearted is the most important in my book, because quite frankly I think it's important for women to be independent and capable of taking care of themselves financially instead of putting themselves in a spot to rely on someone else. Also, they have to make her laugh. Right now, the 3-year-old who offered her one of his digger toys is at the top of my list. She's only 18 months though, so we've got time. My daughter is 7, she is apparently marrying G, whom she has known she was 5. He wants to be Superman when he grows up, strong career choice, but he says that A does not have to be Lois Lane, she can still be a so far most worthy suitor. I want my daughter to marry a friend, someone who loves her, holds her accountable and makes her laugh. Unfortunately, we don't get to choose, and my daughter has had a few men in her life who I didn't like. My daughter is a social spark, she likes to be in the thick of things, always on the move and very impulsive. She's with a man now who is gentle, calm, quiet and simple, and they just work. I would have never picked this man for her, thinking she'd get bored quickly, but they balance each other out beautifully and are very sweet together. He's a lovely man. I have 3 daughters. I hope they find partners who are compassionate, respectful to them and others, funny, kind, intelligent, and ambitious. I want my daughter's partners to love and respect them, and bring them joy. That's all. Beyond that, it is entirely up to my daughters what traits are important to them. My grandmother loves my husband because he calls his parents and grandparents frequently. They also love all his terrible puns and bad jokes. My daughter was recently dating a very sweet girl. But I started to notice she was having a lot of issues with separation anxiety and neediness. Knowing her parents' background, we were friends in my early 20s, my guess is she has some abandonment issues and could strongly benefit from some therapy. I love the girl, but I was relieved when she told my daughter she wasn't ready for a relationship. I hope my daughter's future partners are more emotionally independent, also kind, considerate humans, and have a good work ethic. I do trust my girl to make good choices though. Last school year she broke up with a person because they didn't take school seriously enough, and were trying to convince her to skip homework in favor of hanging out. I had a high school friend who was such a great support and friend. He called to make sure I was alright. He scheduled monthly outing with me, and held me accountable to do the same, so it wasn't a one-way relationship. He supported my hopes and dreams until he joined the military. If I had daughter, he would be a good choice. He was nice, kind and sweet. I'm years away from this point for my daughter, but I hope and pray she finds someone like her dad. He is very thoughtful, loving, caring and in touch with his feelings. I hope she finds someone who loves her when she's not in a good mood, when she is down, when she has lost hope. I hope he helps her find it. I want someone who will pick her up when she is low, and he has a million ways to show her how much he loves her every day. He's tall, he's handsome, he has to have a good job so that when I come and live with you he can pay for it. He's decent and he's good to you. My mother, when asked. Turns out my mother's moving in, guys. Herself. Her. Because she will never find the right partner, if one even exists for her, if she isn't her own soulmate first and foremost. I want her to love herself, because it's the only guaranteed forever partner she's going to have. My mini muffin is almost 3. I image her partner will be much like her daddy. She's a daddy's girl. He will go out of his way to make her feel heard and loved. He, as well as her 3 brothers and myself, respect her. No. He also gets right on her level and corrects her in a way that doesn't belittle her. Every fiber of my being wishes I had that relationship with my dad. I don't care what race/religion/gender her partner is. I haven't put much thought into that. I just hope they make her smile so big her eyes close. I want them to respect her boundaries. I want them to call her on her crap when she's wrong. I want her partner to add value to her life and she to theirs. I'm the daughter here and my mom would choose the absolute worst partner for me. I was raised non-religious but my mom has gotten back into going to church, so she tried to set me up with friends she made there. I love tattoos but my mom considers them trashy. She is dying for grandchildren and even called me selfish for not wanting them. My mom created an alternate version of me based on Rachel Ray and I don't talk to her right now. He looks like my son-in-law. What a coincidence. Probably someone like who my sister is dating. The first thing she said about him was, he never raises his voice even if he's mad. I think that's wonderful. Kindness and empathy is important, but no one ever mentions good temperament and calm. I'd want my daughter to feel safe and calmed down by the person she's with. My daughter's girlfriend is lovely, smart and funny, and she genuinely cares for my daughter in everything she says and does. No matter the sex of your child or their partner, isn't that all you could ask? I am not a mom yet, but I'd want my daughter to be with someone to love and respect her just as much as she respects him/her. I want the love that she gives to that person to be reciprocated. I want her to go to bed at night knowing that they love her. I never want her going to bed crying or in tears at night because she's left with a feeling of uncertainty. A kind and compassionate man/woman, with emotional intelligence and someone who is able to communicate with her is a partner that I'd want my daughter to be with. Honestly, I don't care about the gender or whatever, I just want them to have a healthy relationship. Like good communication, healthy arguments, similar interests, all that good stuff. I hate reading these because it just makes me want to find a guy like these guys. And someone my mom loves. My daughter is a wild child. She can be bossy and loud and just so extra. It's like my favorite thing about her and also what makes life hard sometimes. Honestly, I hope she finds someone who will listen when she talks until she gets her feelings out. Someone who is patient and kind and takes the time to understand her heart. She's a go-getter and I really don't want anyone holding her back from achieving her dreams. She's a hopeless romantic already, so I think a lot about how to help her build up a good self-image and respect herself and her future enough to never settle for passing butterflies and wait for the right one who will always encourage her to go bigger and laugh harder. That's what I want. Anyway, that's my rant. I just love my kid. That they can laugh together, and my daughter is relaxed. If she must pretend that she's something else than she is, that would make me unhappy. I got divorced recently and this thread is giving me a lot of peace. I was so embarrassed because I felt like I was letting down my parents. Reading these responses and my ex-husband checks none of the boxes. Maybe I'm not letting down my parents after all. Emotional intelligence and supportive, kind-hearted but not to a fault, industrious, integrity, intelligent and can problem solve, slow to anger, sense of humor, financially responsible, values being independent in taking care of his home, vehicle, and himself, fun to be around, sense of adventure. She won't be born for a few months, but I'd want my daughter to one day end up with someone who loves her in spite of her flaws, but who helps her to be the best version of herself. Someone who makes her laugh, makes her feel loved and wants her to be exactly who she is. He needs to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. Anyone can say words. He needs to back them up with actions. If you ask my mom, it's any guy my age that is even remotely decent looking, and isn't a literal psychopath. She will be like, that guy behind the counter at the store today was a handsome fella about your age, don't you think he seemed nice? My son is 23. His first girlfriend was when he was in high school. She was very pretty but her family didn't care for us much. They were both accepted to a Tier 1 school in Texas. School of my son's dreams. He considered no other school. Automatic acceptance because of their grades. He was accepted to the School of Natural Sciences. Pre-med. She was not accepted to the nursing program. She bowed out and told him he needed to follow her to another nearby school. He left his school of his dreams and went to a nearby university. They broke up 2 months into school. He got a full ride in his number 2 school, so it worked okay. He's dating Shy now in med school. I just want a woman that has her own aspirations and goals. He's also military, so I pray that maybe she is too. I just want a kind, honest and giving person because he is a kind, honest and loving person. Oncology, internal medicine, I'd like to think that we are a great family to marry or be connected to. I truly want him loved and happy.